Yo, what's up, YouTube? So, I was just messing around on Galli in the Isle, first time ever playing this character, and I came across this Carno, and this guy gets a good charge on me at first, so after that I just decided to see if I could just learn his movement a little bit at the beginning of the fight. I get a good feel for his movement. I kept seeing how he was trying to charge me. He kept, certain thing that Carnos will do is like when they're chasing after you, they will pick a side. So you kind of have to like see, kind of like what side they're leaning towards, and then just run the opposite way. And then you can pretty much juke them every single time after that. Especially when you're playing like Galli or Raptor, it's really easy since you have better turn radius. As a Cerato, you're not going to be getting away from a Carno unless you're a speed hacker, which chances are if you're playing Cerato, you probably are. But pretty much after this engagement, not much really happened. I think after this, I just went and healed for a little bit. I healed for maybe like 5 minutes, not too much. Yeah, and then after I get done healing, I see that he's back down by Mud Pit. I see if I can try and get like a little sneak attack on him. But as you soon find out, I think he's seen me, and he was kind of like anticipating it, but probably didn't know what I was. I think he thought that I was a raptor, which is why he was running away. So I already have a good feel for his movement. So as you can, like right there, you can see where he's like kind of choosing the right side. So I just walk to the left. I think he also realizes that he's not gonna be able to really catch me, so he kind of like just stops bothering me. But I was relentless, and I did not want to let this guy go. I was trying to get the Cerato here to help me, so I kept trying to two-call and see if he would like come and fight with me. So I was trying to see if I could bait the Cerato to either attack me and then lead him to the Carno and then get them to fight each other, to get some damage down or really anything. Because as a Galli, I mean, a solo Galli should never be able to solo a Carno. It's gonna be like very rare. I mean, maybe if the Carno is inexperienced and you kind of get some bleeds in. So that's why I was really trying to get the Cerato there to help me with the fight. But that would not be the last that we see of the Cerato. So right here, I'm using the tactic of spamming one call to annoy my opponent. It's very effective against 90% of the player base. So he runs into the jungle. The problem with the jungle is the terrain's kind of weird. You get caught up on a lot of stuff, and then it's also like easy to lose your target, especially if you don't have a bleed applied to him. Which is why I kind of got a little scared here because I did not want to lose this guy, and I don't think that I had a bleed applied to him. And then I heard him fighting, and lucky for me, it ends up being the Cerato. So while he's fighting the Cerato, I'm trying to get some sneak attacks in and get as many as I can. Just free hits to stack my bleed as much as I can. The Cerato also will apply a bleed for however many attacks he gets, but it's not going to be that much. So you can see there for like a split second that the Cerato did make the Carno bleed. Oh, he got a good hit on me right there. I mean not bleed, but the Cerato made the Carno puke there. But at the time, I did not notice that he did make him puke. I actually thought that he didn't, so I just figured that the Carno was full on hunger. Because the first interaction I seen, I think he was eating when I had first spotted him, so I figured he was just full. I think eventually the Carno gets some really good hits on the Cerato, and the Cerato ends up backing off. The Cerato looked to be like a sub, so he was probably a little scared and didn't want to lose his dino. Now, for me, on the other hand, I figured the Carno would have been pretty weak after this fight, and I just kept my smell up so I can keep tracking his bleed, and I was not going to let this guy rest. Which is the most important thing, is like, as a Galli, you just need to take this as slow as you can, and then just keep applying the bleed. If you can get a free hit in, either by like jump attacking or resting or anything, that's gonna be the most important thing. At this point, I knew that he had. I stacked like 2 or 3 hits, and then also I knew the Serato had gotten in a few hits, so I knew the bleed was gonna last for a while. So I knew I could play it a little safer and just wait to see if he would feel. Wait till see if this Carno would feel safe enough to rest, as he does right here, and then I get a free hit in, and then I just back off, and then I just rinse and repeat. And then the whole time too is galleys have good stamina, but if you use too much, then their stamina regeneration is really slow, even while resting. So always make sure that you're above the 60%. And their trot speed is the fastest in the game. So as long as you make sure you have a bleed up, just make sure you're trotting to keep up your stamina. So at this point, I knew the Carno was weak, and I was starting to get really excited to finally like be able to solo Carno as a galley. And every time this typically happens, I end up running off a cliff or dying in the most unexpected, worst way possible. That could have been easily prevented if I just wasn't like getting so nervous. But I really took a deep breath in here and like really just locked in and focused and so unfortunately for this guy, he keeps resting. I think he's scared of losing his Carno at this point, and then I keep getting in some really good headshots, which do a lot more bleed damage. Right here can be really tricky whenever like a carnivore or any player starts getting in the bush because you can't really see them. But the same works towards your favors that they can't really see you either. So I kind of just ran in the bush there. I knew he was there, but I wanted to make sure that he was that he was either resting or not resting. Because if he was resting, then I'd get a free hit in. But if he wasn't, then obviously he would pretty much kill me right here. But I heard him attack, so I just kind of backed off. And then I heard a sound cue of him laying down, so I kind of ran and got a free hit right there. And there was like a rock or something in the bush, kind of like that I was using to my advantage because when the Carno attacks, he kind of attack his hitbox kind of like hits the ground almost. So with me in the air and doing jump attacks, it was perfect. The mutations I have, I took Truculency just for any raptors, but in this fight it did not do anything at all since it only drains the attacker's stamina more whenever I'm bucking. My second perk was uh, oh man, I don't even remember my second perk or my third, but they were pretty much useless. Oh, I think my third one was I regenerate stamina faster during the daytime, which was useless in this fight. And then oh, my second one was reinforced tendons, so I had 10% less stamina drain when jumping, which was actually really good and came in clutch during this time of the fight. I'm not really a Galli player, but I am a Raptor player, which is why I do these jump attacks right there. Because with the new update, Raptors can now downward like jump attack. So that's kind of like what I'm doing here with the Galli, and it's really easy because you're getting in some really good headshots. And then the Carno, whenever he attacks downward, so you almost can get free headshots on the Galli when you're fighting the Carno. And if you're wondering why he wasn't really running at me as much, is because I drained a lot of his stamina. So the only little bit of stamina he had left at this point of the fight was whenever he was resting. And at this point, I could tell he was starting to get desperate. He was using the bushes. He was using everything. He's even close to the river, which is typically a sign that your opponent is getting pretty desperate. And but I really used the terrain to my advantage here. And I knew that he was out of stamina, so I just really focused on that. I wanted to keep my own stamina up, and I kept using this jump attack trick here. At this point, I knew he was really desperate. Once they get in the water, it's normally a last-ditch effort, and then once I seen that he started drowning, I knew for sure he was out of stamina, and I pretty much knew this fight was gonna be uh, ending soon. I was not expecting him to be down that fast, but this is GG. I think this is the first video I've ever seen of a Galli soloing a Carno. I've looked everywhere. I could not find anywhere where a player was actually able to solo a Carno. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Peace.